Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to me to give of my heart, to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start, can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision. Right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive, And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. All right, one more time. Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to me to dance down that road, Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load, And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
Fabulous. Deep breath. And I want you to feel the power of peace in your life. That one of the constants of your soul is peace. That no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what's going on in the world, your soul knows peace. So I want you to take a deep breath. And I want you to feel the peace in your soul. The peace that passes all understanding. The peace that is the celebration of your relationship with God. That your soul knows peace. That from your oneness with your Creator, peace is our soul's natural state. So we move into peace now. Beyond our intellect, beyond our understanding, beyond the outer life, beyond the details, there's a peace so deep within your soul that I want you to dive into that. A peace that is the experience of all that God is. A peace that is so deep and so true that no matter what's going on in the world, you and God are okay. Your soul knows peace. Your soul is peace. For your soul is one with God. So now in the silence, I want you to take a deep breath. and know the peace of your soul, the peace of God. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. In the name and through the power of the living Christ, today we celebrate peace. The deepest peace of our own soul, the peace that passes all understanding. So in the name and through the power of the living Christ, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
So much pushing and pulling, so much fighting and straining, so much laboring against waves and wind. I am tired, my arms are weary, my back is aching, my eyes are bleary. I think I'm finally ready to give in. I have struggled, I have cried, I have screamed inside about the kind of life I've tried to lead. Well, right now I think it's time, for the very first time, to lay down my body and mind and just be. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be all right. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. Down the block or to the moon, around the world or just to my room, I can't say where I'm supposed to end up. I've resisted for so long, as if I could do no wrong, and it's never been quite good enough. It's a funny thing, I guess, this prideful human saying yes without knowing what I'm agreeing to. But there's a simple fact I find: the decision's never been mine. All I'll ever do is what I'm meant to do. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be all right. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. It's a scary thing for sure, to lay down my oars and quit pretending that I've ever been in charge. But it's scarier still to spend this strength and will and never even have a peaceful heart. So here goes the toughest thing. Ironic, don't you think, that it's so hard and so easy all at once? No, it's not laziness, it's just the deepest kind of trust that I'm okay when all is said and done. I'm okay when all is said and done. You want to sing that with me? I'm okay when all is said and done. One more time. I'm okay when all is said and done. If I stop steering my boat, if I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. I'll just go where the ocean says to go.
Okay, so we've been doing this series on 7 prayers that will change your life. And those of you who have been playing along at home, the first one was, what do you remember? Let there be light. Then last year we worked on Thy will be done. A couple of you stayed away for the whole service. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. So this week I want to talk about peace and our prayer for peace. And I want to ask you, what is your personal commitment to peace? Like, do you have a high commitment to peace? Or you have kind of a middle commitment to peace? Or are you kind of like, well, peace shows up, I'm okay with it. If it doesn't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Like, where are you in your commitment to peace? Your personal, individual commitment to peace. I graduated from college in 1980. So it's kind of a young man in the 80s, graduated from seminary in 88. And those of you that were around know that in 1989, the big event, at least in my inner world, was the fall of the Berlin Wall. And for me, the 80s was a big commitment for me for personal peace. And to end that decade with peace was an extraordinary thing. To believe that we could have peace in my lifetime, to believe that world peace could be established. And so the 80s were powerful and transformative. And the 90s, that dream kind of got a little, well, it just got a little lost sometimes. We had war in the 90s, and then in the 2000s, we were kind of in and out of war in the Middle East for the last 30 years, 20 years. And, I got to tell you, in my own inner life, there was a level of being disillusioned. Because it looked like we were so close to peace. It looked like it was just right there that we could have it, that we could have it. And for me, there are 3 levels of peace. There's inner peace. There's peace in my world with my family and my little corner of the world, and then there's world peace. And it looked to me that we were so close to having world peace. And over the last few decades, there's been this, for me anyway, kind of a challenge for what I believe my personal commitment to peace was. Like, could I see all the things that are going on in the world around me and still be just as committed to peace? And it's been a real inner journey for me of like, how deeply committed am I to peace, that even when I feel like it's not showing up, am I still as committed to peace within myself, within my life, within the world? Because I honestly, the people that have known me the longest, one of the ways they describe me is kind of a boat rocker. Now, a boat rocker, you know what a boat rocker is? A boat rocker is someone who takes a degree of joy in rocking the boat, right? Just kind of poking people and kind of, creating loving disruptions in their life, right? And just not overly creating conflict, but just enjoying just being a nuisance from time to time with the highest spiritual intent, right? My favorite line when I was in seminary is one of my classmates said that our purpose was to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. And I believe that, and I've integrated that. That's been my work, right? Because those people that are struggling, I want to be there to support them, and those people who are kind of stuck, I want to be there to poke them good, right? And both of those are, for me, both sides of ministry. That we need to be here awakening each other and calling each other out and inspiring people. And we need to be standing right beside someone who's struggling and going through a hard time. And we need to be holding them in prayer and not being a nuisance. And so those in my inner world have lived side by side. That didn't seem like a conflict to me. That just seemed like that was our spiritual job. And so in the world today, what is our belief in peace? Do we believe that peace is possible? And at what level do we believe that peace is possible? Do we believe that peace is possible in our own inner life? Do we believe that it's possible for our family, in our work, in our home, in our community? Do we believe that peace is possible on a global level? So where are we with that? I remember a long time ago reading a bumper sticker that said, "Know God," K-N-O-W. Know God is to know peace, K-N-O-W. Know God, N-O God, know peace. And I believe that there's some truth to that, right? To the degree that we know God is to the degree that we feel a sense of peace. That I want to talk today about peace as a process. And our prayer for this day, for this week, is peace, be still. Will you say that with me? Peace, be still. And I want you just to feel, I want you to feel the places within your own beingness where you're not at peace. We have a huge amount of people that are anxious in our world today. And the only way that we can really move from that is to understand how we get to peace. Because if we can't have peace within ourselves, we can't have peace within our families, and we can't have peace on a global level. That it really has to start as we sing every Sunday, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." So I want us for 1 week, your prayer is simply, "Peace, be still." So let's say it one more time. Peace, be still. For 1 week, your prayer is "Peace, be still." And I want you just to see how that lives in your life. Reading from the Gospel of Mark 4. On that day when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowds, they took him with them in a boat, and it was just them. And the other boats were also with them. And a great storm arose, and the waves beat against the boat, and the boat was already filling up. Now, when I read this story, when the story probably read to me as a little child, I was kind of feeling like they were kind of being a little wimpish. It's like, come on, a little bit of water in the boat, you're fine, get over it, right? As I grew up in Southern California, and from an early age, I learned to sail. And, a little water in the boat, you're fine, right? As I studied more, and I really understood who the disciples were, these guys were making their living as fishermen. These guys knew the water. They knew the tides. They knew the weather. They knew. And so when they knew they were going down, this was no small thing. They believed they were going down, right? And they had every right to believe that they were going down. So when they woke up Jesus, it was like, okay, we're giving you a little advance warning, but we're all drowning right now, and I just want you to know that. It's pretty much what they're saying to him, right? So here's the rest of the story, right? But he was in the stern, asleep on a cushion, and they woke him and said, "Teacher, do you not care if we perish?" And he woke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you no faith?" And they were filled with awe and said to one another, "Who is this man, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Right? So for most of us anyway, when we think of the term peace be still, or the prayer peace be still, or the affirmation peace be still, we think about us claiming it in the world around us and wanting the world around us to knock it off. Right? When we claim peace be still, we want the world around us to just get it right so that we could be at peace. Because there's this belief of our ego, if you will, that says, when everything is right out there, now I can be at peace. And for the next 7 days, what we're going to do is exactly the opposite. We're going to master our own mind. Because in any moment where you're upset, and you could think it was about your kids, or your finances, or your health, or what's going on in Washington. You can think about whatever it is, and we think that's the problem. If that would just get right, then I could be at peace. But the real deal is that we have not yet learned to master our own mind. When we master our own mind, that's what's disruptive, because your soul knows peace. The only thing that keeps you from peace is the jabber of your thoughts. And once your thoughts are quiet, then we dive into the deepest level of peace in our own soul. And what we haven't really mastered as a people, as a race, is a quiet mind. That our mind races to solve, to fix, to change, to manipulate, whatever it needs to do, so that the world outside of us is safe, so we can finally relax and be at peace. But the real spiritual process is that it happens from within, that we master our thoughts, and as we master our thoughts, then we are at peace. So for the next 7 days, you're not going to try to create peace outside of you. You're only going to focus on your own mental process. And when you say peace be still, you are talking to your own mental process. You're talking to yourself. You're talking to your ego. You're talking to your own personality. That it's not about getting your kids right or your grandkids right or the weather right or this right or that right. It's about you getting to the place of peace so that you can dive into the infinite goodness of God. You know, one of the things that Unity has been about for the last 140 years is moving people from negative thinking to positive thinking. And positive thinking is better than negative thinking. It just is, right? If you have a negative thought or a negative thought base, and everything in life you look at as a negative, that's a hard way to live, right? And so when you go from negative thinking to positive thinking, it's a quantum shift. It's a big step up. And for most of us, we are in that process of moving from negative thinking to positive thinking. But that's not the whole story. The whole story isn't that positive thinking is all that. It is a huge improvement. But really the ultimate is when you move from negative thinking to positive thinking to a quiet mind, to no thought. That's actually where we're going. That we're actually going to the place where our mind can be still, because in the stillness of our mind, we experience the fullness of God. You know, there's a lot of Eastern teachers that talk about the mind as a waterfall. And they talk about, through prayer and meditation, of slowing the waterfall down, and that underneath the waterfall is this cave, and the cave represents God. And as we quiet our mind, we know God. Will you say with me? Peace, be still. One more time. Peace, be still. So can you see in your own life the way your thoughts agitate you? Has anybody ever spent a whole night worrying about something? And in the morning, it worked itself out anyway, that you really didn't need to spend a whole night agitated, but you were maybe humming or hawing or walking or pacing or whatever you do, or, maybe in the refrigerator eating everything in sight as a calming influence, because we know that chocolate cake has medicinal purposes. It's right? It really is a divine activity, right? And then over and over again, we really want to believe that we will be at peace when the world gets it right. And it's that belief that it's not my fault I'm not at peace. It's the world's fault that I'm at peace. And when all you people get your act together, I'm going to be just fine, right? But it never works that way. It's like over and over again, can you find a quiet place within yourself to trust God that God's going to work it out at the highest and the best way? Together, peace, be still. Let me give you one quote from Jesus. From John 16:33, Jesus is recorded as saying this: "These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you may have peace. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you may have peace." And then he gives the teaching. "In the world there is tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world." Now, was Jesus' world smooth, flat, uneventful? No! Right? So, right? He had a level of drama. Can we agree that he had a level of drama? Well, Richard, not Jesus. Jesus didn't have drama, right? But he did. There was drama. There was stuff happening, right? But he found peace in the midst of it. That his peace, his connection to God, his soul experience of peace was so deep. It was deeper than any other thing going on in his life. So he found peace. And what I want you to see is over and over again, the thing that keeps us from peace is not the details of your life. It's not. No matter what's going on in your life right now, it is not that is keeping you from peace. It's your thoughts. That we have not yet learned to master our mind and quiet our thoughts so that we can feel the presence of God. In Inc. magazine, which, is not usually a source I go to for spiritual inspiration. You know what Inc. magazine is? It's about entrepreneurship and business. And there was an article recently that said mental strength and inner peace go hand in hand. And I really want you to see that. So that mentally strong people are confident that they can handle whatever life throws at them. There's not to say that they don't feel pain or they don't get sad. They experience all their emotions on a deep level, but they don't waste their energy wishing things were different or trying to change other people. They stay focused on managing their own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And that's what I want. That's just spiritually true. Like that each and every one of us can have dominion over our own mind. Until we have dominion over our own mind, there is no peace in our own life. And the more time and energy we spend fretting or worrying or being anxious or being upset and that's for many of us the reason we don't spend more time in meditation. Because most of us think, well, I'd spend more time in meditation if I could get my head quiet. Well, that's the purpose, right? You practice prayer and meditation to learn to quiet your thoughts. So in this article, it then goes on to say that mentally strong people learn that there's 10 things that they can give up that destroy their inner peace. First one, they said, people that are mentally strong have learned not to engage with toxic people. Right? And I want you to really look at that, right? Do you have somebody in your life that is too stupid to know that you're right? Right? And that it is your job to educate them on how stupid they are by what they do, what they believe, how they think. And your job is to make sure you enlighten them on how they should be in the world. right? And we get to do that for as long as we want, but we are investing in an immense amount of time helping other people that don't actually lead to our own sense of peace. Second thing they showed, excessive self-blame, chasing happiness at all costs, staying in situations just to be comfortable, the victim mentality, trying to impress people, the pursuit of perfection, giving up grudges, the quest for material things, and the complete self-reliance. In the final paragraph, it talks about those people that have a high degree of peace have learned to cooperate with others to get their needs met. And I love that. Because for many of us, we have this belief that we have to do it on our own. So for the next 7 days, your job is to master your mind with 3 little words. Peace, be still. One more time. Peace, be still. Because until we get here, everything in life is harder than it needs to be. But when you have peace, when you really have peace, when you've learned to master your own thought process, then the infiniteness of God opens, and you get to do a deep dive into God. That I promise you, that wherever you are, whatever's going on in your life this week, it is here to help you master your thoughts. Together one more time. Peace, be still. Let's take it into prayer. I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to feel the presence of God that's within you and all around you. And there is nothing in your life that is worth being upset about. And as you breathe, as you master your thoughts, you will be divinely guided. You will learn what to do and how to do it. You will be inspired and uplifted and healed and blessed in amazing ways. For God is with you. And God will walk with you through any situation. And your only job this week is to allow your mind to be quiet, to master your thoughts, and feel the full presence and power of God that is within you. And so it is. Amen. All right.
Hello again. Before I sing what I'm about to sing, which I'm not exactly sure what I'm about to sing, I want to thank you for having me and invite you back at 1 o'clock. It's been a very weird couple of years. Actually, this is one of the few places I've visited in the last couple of years. So I know I probably told you a little bit about it at the time, but I've been doing mostly singing into a little green dot in my laptop for the last 2 years, which is far less satisfying, although it's been wonderful in its own way. And during that time, I wrote a lot of songs, which really added up, stacked up over those couple of years without me really realizing it. And then just the last 6 months or so, in earnest, I started recording them. And my boy, Jude, who's 10, is sick of the songs already because he's been listening. He has to listen to me record them because I listen to them in the car whenever I'm driving him anywhere. So as far as he's concerned, these songs have been out forever, and he's tired of them already. But for everybody else, they're brand new. So this afternoon, I'll sing several of these new songs. And if you haven't been watching Facebook shows, and I salute you if you haven't, and thank you if you have, then you have never heard these songs. So hopefully you'll stick around, and if you have any requests, I'll take those too. And there was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, you know what, I wanted to say one thing. I don't know if I said this the last time I was here, but I'm sure you're the same way. I remember sincere kindness. You know what I mean? Like, you get little acts, big acts, you get, a little gift, a little nice word, whatever. But sometimes an act of kindness is so striking that it just feels, indelible. And some of you probably were here for an act of kindness that I received in this room. Tom was still minister. So we're talking about 12, 13, 14 years ago, maybe that long ago. Maybe a little less than that. But here's what happened. I can tell it very briefly. And just all that happened is I showed up for service and I was sick. I was so sick. And I had a concert scheduled. And I came out there to do this concert. And I said, I can't do this. I'm not up to, and I mean, I have canceled maybe, you could count on one hand the number of performances I've canceled in 25 years. I just don't do it. And I said, I can't sing you songs today. I am so sorry. I sing a few songs, maybe. I tried to do like 10, 15 minutes of music. And then I got out of there. And as I was packing up to go, people there put money in the jar as if I had given a concert. And now, of course, I'd come a long way. I live in Orange County, so I'd driven 400 miles to do it. You know, it took 24 hours out of my, more than that, out of my, away from my family, etc. And it wasn't a fortune, but, right, didn't need to be. The act of it. So, is anybody here who was there that day? Acacia, you were there? So, you know what, I just want to thank you, and I'm being sincere. Those things, I mean, that's the good stuff in life. When you can give it that way and when you can receive it that way. And I was just sitting here and I was just remembering, my God, that was special. That those of you who were there felt like supporting me in making a living, making music, which is never easy and getting trickier all the time. Even though I couldn't do the show, you supported me on my way home. So thank you for doing that. Yeah. Well, I used to dream out loud. Just being human made me proud. Now I throw my hands up in the air from disillusion and despair. My heart has taken such abuse. I've used my hurt as my excuse. It's like my hope has disappeared behind the shadow of my fear. And I wonder why they say that aging thins the skin. Then I remember I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything, no. I can right one wrong, I can sing one song. I don't need to do everything. It's time to dive back in, yeah. It's time to live again. I am unjaded. What if you have to fall to grow? I've fallen hard enough to know. So what if life's not fair? Does it mean that I'm too cool to care? And I wonder when I stopped believing right will win. Then I remember I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything, no. I can right one wrong, I can sing one song. I don't need to do everything. It's time to dive back in, yeah. It's time to live again, unjaded. What kind of life would I live with my heart closed? What kind of man would I be? What kind of world will I be creating if I can love with all of me? If I just love with all of me. I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything on my own. I can right one wrong, I can sing one song. I don't need to do everything. I am only one, but I am not alone. I don't need to do everything, no. I can write one wrong or sing one song. I don't need to do everything. It's time to dive back in. Yeah, it's time to dive back in. Oh, it's time to live again. I am unjaded. Unjaded.